Hello, and welcome to this early June edition of Mustang Magazine. I'm Ronnie Marshalsea.
And I'm Juliana Shamo. Normally, Mustang Magazine is an editing program, but today we're taping this show live.
Mustang Magazine is produced by broadcast journalism students from Norwood High School.
Our goal is to tell the stories from around our community that matter most to teenagers. And tonight we bring our stories without any redos or editing.
All right, let's get started. Recently, the class of 2015 graduated, and there was a change to a major part of the graduation ceremony. Senior staff reporters Brian King and Paul Galvin bring us our cover story.
Earlier this year, changes were made with how future plans of the senior class were to be read at graduation.
It allows them to be really proud of their ultimate plan, whether it was academically or financially or whatever, just life circumstances that prevented kids from achieving maybe what they had wanted to. We just thought it would be more important to focus on the plans and in what the intention was for once they graduated.
Although the changes may be subtle, seniors and faculty seem delighted with the outcome.
Not to take away anything from any of the other kids, but I think that everyone should be proud of what they've accomplished and what their future plans are.
And to be honest, it's really not much different. I think it really just leaves it a little bit more open-ended for the student to decide.
Being able to say whatever you want without the strict guideline used in previous years, students no longer have to feel stressed or pressured into making their decision.
Some of the stuff as it got brought to the surface were things that guidance counselors had felt that some students felt uncomfortable about as they were going through determining what was going to be said at graduation. And our biggest thing here is that everybody has a great plan, regardless of whether it's college, military, workforce, whatever it might be, and we wanted everybody to go to graduation and be really proud of that.
We've worked hard these past 4 years, and I think that it's important to be proud of what you've accomplished and to be able to kind of show it off. And I know a lot of seniors have been looking forward to it since they were freshmen.
This senior class sure will have a lot to celebrate coming this June. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Brian King.
Thanks, guys. We're happy to report that graduation went off without a hitch.
It's crazy to think that we're actually going to be the seniors of the school now that the class of 2016 is gone. Time flies. It seems like just yesterday we were in elementary school.
Yeah, speaking of elementary school, recently freshman reporters Tim Rose and Xavier Cullen went back to the elementary school for an old tradition at the Oldham.
I hope you like cake.
Spring has sprung, and that means it's time for the Oldham School's annual Spring Fair.
It's a big tradition at the Oldham. It's been here as long as I've been here, and this is my 6th year.
There are typical events at the fair, like a bouncy house, raffle, and others. But by far, the most popular game is the cakewalk.
The kids love sugar, and the kids love cake, so the bigger the cake, the better.
The cakewalk is a game where you have the chance to win your very own cake. And for the cost of 3 tickets, or about $1.50, anyone can play.
So there are 20 hula hoops on the stage, so 20 people can play at a time. Everyone stands in a hula hoop, and they spin the wheel, which is numbered 1 through 20, and if it lands on your number, you win, and you can choose your cake.
And even though the cakewalk is popular with the kindergartners and the first graders, the older kids come to play too.
Some of them do, yeah. Some of them definitely do. I think when they're older, like the 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, that's the game they want to play, yeah.
I have never won before, and I've been doing this, so I went to this school back in 2007, and I've never won, so it's about time.
And then, when they win...
Oh, super excited, yeah. Some of them go home with 4 cakes, yeah.
All of the cakes in the cakewalk were given to the fair by the 5th grade parents.
Every year we ask the 5th grade parents to just donate cakes. We don't expect them to do anything else for the fair but bake. Some of the families really go all out and decorate them, Norwood Mustang style, or, there's a minion cake up there, there's a bird cake up there, so the kids have a lot to choose from.
With nearly 70 cakes donated this year, it was a great turnout for the Oldham Spring Fair, with a lot of money raised for the 5th grade class. So come to the fair next year to get your own piece of the cake. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Tim Rose.
Thanks, guys. I wouldn't mind having some cake right now. All right, up next, we have a story about discovery and exploration.
Christopher Columbus, the Mayflower?
No, just some seniors from NHS on a tank of gas. Senior staff reporter Brian Curley takes us for a ride with the Explorers.
If Moe's was closed, I would literally jettison myself out of this car.
A small group of Norwood High students, which includes senior Griffin Plague, spend their weekends exploring Massachusetts.
It kind of started on a whim a few months ago. We were out one night, and we just decided to hop on 109 and head west. And all of a sudden, we were in Mendon.
And this first trip has led to a new hobby for the group.
we're interested in, grasping an understanding of the greater Massachusetts area geography. We've taken other day trips to various places, including Maine, New Hampshire. Went to Hampton Beach. It was a good time. So we just like to, jet out, explore the landscape a little.
Wait, do I go right here?
Yes.
Go.
Yeah, what is this tender music?
The trio of Griffin, Matt McKenzie, and Henry Nee tries to explore as much as they can.
I'd say every other weekend or so. Sometimes we get further than others. We've gotten beyond Worcester before. Sometimes we only make it out to about Upton, and we turn around there. It's all a matter of timing, but we try to make them pretty frequent. And it's always a good time.
And they plan to extend their trips outside of New England.
All honesty, it's given me a bunch of fun experiences. I think it's important to remember that there's a lot more in the area than just Norwood. I mean, things tend to get a little bit insular around here, so having an opportunity to sort of get out and see different parts of the state, it makes you more worldly, a little bit more cultured, and there's a sense of adventure to it that I think it's important for everybody to tap into.
These trips around Massachusetts have opened up Griffin's eyes.
We plan to broaden the scope of them, actually. Thinking about going to the Southwest at some point, maybe jetting out across the interior of the country a bit. There's more in the world than just Massachusetts, after all. I mean, Matt's going to college in the same town as I, so we plan to frequent the jetty on a regular basis.
And these future plans are in place because of the success of the trips they have already gone on.
Anywhere you go, there's going to be something fun. There's always going to be something interesting, and if you go with the right people, it's always going to be a good time.
Next time you're out in a boat, make sure to look for the Explorers. Reporting from Mustang Magazine, I'm Brian Curley.
Gyroscope, sorry. All right, let's pause.
Thanks, Brian. The seniors sure have done some interesting things during their last term here at NHS.
And next, Mike Levesque has a story on one particular senior who made the most of his time here.
Being a new student coming from another school can be challenging. But imagine coming from a different country with a different language.
I spoke a little bit, just saying hi, hello.
It was with those simple phrases that senior Sarav Kandel first came to the United States. His family moved to Norwood in July of 2011, and since he had a month until school started, Kandel decided to start practicing his English.
I started watching TV, some TV shows, I started reading like newspaper, and then some books.
But it was one show in particular that got him speaking and ready to make friends.
When I got here, the first TV show I watched was the Good Luck Charlie. That was the first TV show and I liked it, and then that's how I got my English.
And after a while, his English became better and he began speaking to other students and holding conversations.
I just started talking to them, more practice in school, and then more practice outside school. I started watching more movies from that show, like on the computer, like looking up on YouTube, more songs, music, videos, cartoons, everything.
These days, Kandel seems like a normal American kid, taking classes in the school's general population, and he doesn't take the experience for granted.
If I was in Nepal too, like school studies, like this one's easier, like this is easy, fast, like I know what I'm doing. But like if I was in Nepal, it would have been hard for me to because school studies, it's not that easy. If I was in Nepal right now, like I would not have like this kind of facilities. For example, like I have like whatever I want. Like I have my phone, my computer, like everything like I want. But if I was in Nepal, like I would not have that right now.
And he's living a true American teenager experience, making friends and participating in after-school activities.
Soccer's been really good for me because I'm playing high school soccer varsity, got some good goals, a few games, and then got an award for that too, for scoring a goal in 32 seconds in the starting game. And then I got some, I made new friends. That's what I'm happy for. I got new friends. That's a big accomplishment.
As a senior, Kandel is planning for life after high school and trying to learn from his mistakes.
Probably gonna go to college after high school, graduating high school. Even though
This year, during second term, Kandel got into some trouble after making some bad decisions. But like other teenagers who experience setbacks, he is learning from his mistakes.
Second term was pretty much hard because I missed all my exams and everything. That got me bad grades. So the next term, third term, I studied really
And after a strong third term, Kendall's path after graduation seems more clear.
I'm majoring in computer science. After graduating college, I'm thinking like working for a business or like just like working for another company, like as being a computer science, like software engineering, programming.
Saurav is ready for the adult life in America. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Mike Lebeck.
So Rob and the rest of the seniors may have some future plans on the work, but most underclassmen still need some help.
Recently, the Guidance Department organized a career day where local professionals came in to share their experiences. Tori Giffen and Anthony Zona report.
Recently, the junior class took part in a career day created by the Guidance Department.
Whatever it is you do, you have the mindset and the heart for it.
We feel that a lot of times junior year students start to reach that kind of social maturity where they're ready for that next step and to be engaged with what this whole purpose is and like why they're doing all this work every day.
Professionals also wanted to help students find their way.
I think it's good for students to hear real stories from someone in the field, trying to give them the reality of it and whether they really want to go into this business, which I happen to love, but it's not for everyone.
Students appreciated this direct feedback from the field.
I really liked it. I liked seeing people who are firsthand, like in the career, rather than just like hearing about the career from other people who aren't even like a part of it.
And with this new information, students can save in the long run.
I think it's hard, especially with the cost of college now. Students are paying so much for college, and I think it's putting a lot of pressure on them to figure out their career when they're in high school, and you're not necessarily equipped to do that.
However, it is good to know that college isn't the only option.
I went into the Marine Corps after high school.
Sometimes I think students think like you have to do it this way, you have to go that way, and usually the stories behind these professionals are very unique and they went many, many different ways to get where they are today, so I think sharing some of those tells students that there's plenty of ways to get where you want to go.
For Mustang Magazine, I'm Anthony Zona reporting.
Thanks, guys. With so many potential careers out there, it's hard to imagine picking just one.
Well, you may not have to choose. In this next story, Joe Mazzata and TJ Gover introduce us to an NHS math teacher who has a really flexible career path.
All the way up into Eagle now, bypass that. Exhale, back out. Eagle airplane. Inhale here. Exhale, step back out to Warrior 2.
Once I started doing yoga, I liked it so much that I just kept doing it, and it's been very continuous and a very, it's been a strange path, but it's been a beautiful path.
Just pick your foot up, open up into Warrior 2. Good.
And I thought, gee, you know, before I start teaching in studios, it would be great if I could offer it here to my colleagues, teach it for free, and have them come in and have them get free yoga, which would give me the experience. We do it right here in the classroom. I tape paper over the doors so prying eyes of students can't look in.
Eagle arms. Now step forward. We're going to go slow first. Step forward.
Took it just because to get to be a better yogi. I didn't take it to be a yoga instructor. I took it just to enrich my practice. And a lot of people say that, to enrich your practice. And I never thought I would end up teaching.
All right. Now, so we did some of the wrists. We did some of the core. We're just going to work on the forearm part now.
There's respiratory benefits. There's heart benefits. It really benefits the spine because of all the different movements you move, the extension of your spine, the lateral twisting. It benefits your joints. It benefits your hamstrings. It benefits everything.
Inhale, inhale, 9. Inhale, inhale, 10. Inhale, inhale, 9. All right.
It changed my life completely. Pains I had went away. I was more calm thinking. Didn't get angry as much.
Breathe just out of the left side of the rib cage.
Yoga changed my life 10 years ago. When I went through that teacher training last year, it did it again to like a, if you remember exponential from math, it went up an exponential level from that.
Thanks, guys. Now let's move from the math department to the history department.
Ben Wong and Danny Hernan take us to the lecture hall where one junior is paying homage to a very important scientist in American history.
I would ideally like to win nationals.
For junior Julia Kiley, this has been a long-standing goal for the past few years.
NHD is National History Day, and it's a national competition where there's 6 different formats you can do, and there's an annual theme, and you create a project to match the theme, and you compete against other people.
And Julia isn't exactly an amateur.
This is my 4th year doing NHD. It's my 3rd year doing an individual performance, though.
This year's National History Day theme focuses on exploration and the exchange of information, and Julia has decided to create a skit about one of the most well-known female activists of the 1900s.
So my National History Day project is an individual performance, and it is about Jane Goodall and how she entered the Gombe Forest about 60 years ago and encountered the chimpanzees and explored the forest, and then went on to become an activist and exchange information with the world on conservation and preservation.
But Jane Goodall is more than a monkey lover. She is an individual who stood up for what she believed in a time where there weren't many female role models in science.
I picked Jane Goodall because she's always been a historical person that I loved, and in 3rd grade I was actually dressed as her for Halloween.
For many like Julia Kiley, National History Day is not about the competition so much as the process involved throughout the project.
Winning isn't really the thing, it's more of what you gain from doing the process and researching and learning those skills that you learn that will benefit you for the rest of your life.
And this process has helped Julia Kiley make it to the national round, not only once, but twice.
Nationals every year is held at University of Maryland, so I've gone to University of Maryland twice.
Though Julia Kiley would like to go on to see more than just the University of Maryland, she recognizes the most important lesson she's learned from NHD. Winning is not as important as what you learn along the way.
National History Day has definitely taught me to look more at primary sources throughout history and to really get the first-person perspective of the topic that you're working with and understanding your topic's view and how they influence the world and how they viewed their influence.
Young people want to right the wrongs of the world, but it'll be their world tomorrow, and there's still so much left to fight for.
She might not be fighting for the rights of chimpanzees, but Julia Kiley is fighting for what she believes in through this competition. For Mustang Magazine, I'm Ben Wong.
Thanks, guys. For seniors, graduating is an exciting time.
And some seniors are graduating from more than just high school. We recently attended a cultural school where one of our own, Jared Gagano, was receiving his diploma. Bernard Belande and Aiden Flores report.
Every Sunday, while most kids are enjoying their weekend, other kids are showing up to Bedford Town Center for their next class.
So it's a Filipino school that teaches kids, I think, from grades K to 12.
You learn culture, you learn food, you learn what you would normally learn growing up in the Philippines.
Filipino school doesn't even seem like school to some people. It's more of a family reunion.
Well, I met my family here. We're brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles. We're just one big family that comes together every other Sunday.
I think they get the best of both worlds. So when they learn about why I do most of the things that other parents, American parents, do, like discipline my children or do, say things, some other cultural and traditional things that we do at home.
It's a great way to get schooled in cultural ways, driving a few minutes instead of flying across the world.
So we don't normally have access to what they have. We don't know what they know. So it's just a way to learn what they know and learn their language and their dances and their songs and everything.
And there's some celebrations in the future due to a major anniversary coming up.
So it is now in its 40th year. We're having a 40th year celebration on May 29th. It's a combination of all the things that children have learned over the year, but also we have invited alumni to come. Students have graduated to just, spend the day and reminisce about things they've learned in school. So, I expect them to be cognizant or be able to also share what they've learned at least, and you know, much as they are more Americans than Filipino, I want them to be proud that they have this rich heritage that they have grown up from.
Learning about your heritage while making lifelong friends and connections. Not bad for Sunday school. Reporting for NHS Update, I'm Eden Flores.
Thanks, guys. It's sad to see the seniors go.
We've all come a long way in the past few years.
True. I remember being a freshman and just trying to figure out my place at NHS.
It's hard enough being a freshman, period. Imagine being a freshman in charge of upperclassmen. Alessandra Varon shows us just how Colleen Cardinal is doing that down in the drama department.
Freshman Colleen Cardinal played several roles in the 2016 spring production of Robin Hood.
My jobs for Robin Hood are stage managing, costume coordinating, and I have the role of the Prioress of Kirklees.
Taking on all these jobs was not easy.
I'm a freshman, so being in an authoritative role, it's kind of like, oh, well, she is still younger, and when it's with your friends, you don't want to be mean and you don't want to insult anyway, but it's like, you have to get something done, and if they don't follow the directions, they're gonna get reprimanded.
In spite of the struggles, Colleen earned the respect of her peers.
I mean, I love Colleen. I think Colleen's really good. Being a stage manager is stressful to begin with, and then taking on the scene changes is also just a whole other thing. So I think especially for a freshman, she's like doing really well.
With all these responsibilities, Colleen found herself a bit unbalanced both on and off stage.
Being a costume coordinator and the stage manager takes up a lot of time, so learning lines while doing these other jobs and being in scenes that you're trying to also direct and figure out can be very tough. So I would say they have taken away a little bit from acting. Sleep is one thing that I've had to give up. I usually get home about 9 now, and before, to be honest, I'd go to bed by about 9:30, but now it's about 10 because homework and grades have suffered a little bit, but I evened it out. And also family time, friend time, that has shifted a little.
Despite the difficulty, the experience was very rewarding.
I made a lot of new friends. I mean, really just figuring out that I can juggle all these jobs, and designing costumes is so fun, and so is acting. I definitely see a future in possibly directing.
I think she's like kind of a natural for it, to be honest, because I mean, I think it's something that you kind of have to learn, but I don't think Colleen's really had any training. I think she kind of just watched Mr. Quinn and picked it up, and so that's really cool.
It's very fun. I love doing it. I love figuring out different things that the characters should be doing or they're not doing, and really learning about it.
And scene. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Alessandra Varon.
Thanks, Alessandra. Now let's move from the arts to the athletics with a story about a new gym in town that's a little more extreme than usual.
Chris Gilman opened a gym in Nord, and people are flipping over it.
So this gym is a acrobatic facility. We mainly specialize in parkour, freerunning, tricking, trampoline, and tumbling.
Parkour is a sport, usually outdoors, using everyday obstacles to your advantage. Gilman has been doing parkour for almost a decade, training at the New England Sports Academy, but after it closed down, he knew it was time to take matters into his own hands.
We wanted a place that not only we could train at, our friends could train at, but also we wanted to continue teaching so that the younger generations could continue to train.
So last month, Fifth Dimension Athletics opened their doors and the trainings began.
We train the skill again and again and again at 2 feet off the ground, so that when you're doing it 30 feet off the ground, it's not really any different. You're still doing the exact same thing.
And when you're jumping, flipping at greater heights, danger can be a factor. Gilman has injured himself many times during the sport.
I got a hairline fracture in my left leg in the fibula. When I did a double backflip outside, I just landed. I stuck the landing, but the bone just couldn't take the landing.
Gilman's parkour talents have also led to other jobs that highlight his skills.
I worked for the Boston Celtics during the halftime shows. So having that ability to flip and know where I am made it easier for when I tried out to make the team.
During the routine, the team performs to help the crowd get excited during downtimes.
The whole team runs down and just does front flips. we run back, and then we do a progression. So the first person might do a front flip, the second person will do a front flip with a half twist, the third person will do a front flip with a full twist, and we'll work up all the way to a double flip with a half twist, things like that. And then Lucky the Leprechaun always finishes with something cool.
So next Celtics game, look for Gilman. But in the meantime, flip, tuck, and roll your way down to the fifth dimension. Reporting from Mustang Magazine, I'm Calvin Meyer.
Thanks, guys. Next, we have a story about another senior whose dancing is about to reach the next level. Emmy Coffey and Colleen Osborne report.
Senior Becca Gardner has been dancing since she was 3 years old.
I like dance because I get to express myself and like show emotion. I do ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, modern, and I have a solo, so I do like private lessons, and then I'm on competition team.
Dancing at the dance force in Norwood, Becca has met a lot of influential people.
I think all 4 of my dance teachers inspire me because they're like what I want to be like when I grow up as a dancer. I'm going to Roger Williams to major in dance.
Many things have prepared her for this difficult major.
I want to eventually open up my own studio and teach dance. I think competition team and doing private lessons has prepared me like technically for college, and like being critiqued like during competitions has prepared me for college, like the intensity of that dance.
Becca plans on volunteering to teach a dance class during the summer. Good luck, Becca. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Colleen Osborne.
Thanks, girls. NHS is never short on talent.
But sometimes we do go outside of Norwood when we hear of a good story. In our final segment, we're going all the way to Framingham to meet an up-and-coming rapper looking to make a name for himself.
Sadie Kroll and Danny Sullivan filed this final report.
Gotta be patient, you feel me? Cause I am back in the city, been stacking them fitties. Everything I do on a day-to-day basis has something to do with music.
But it hasn't always been that way. Matt's passion for music is rather newfound.
I started doing musicals in high school, sophomore year. People told me to try out because I didn't really like school.
It started out as a hobby until something sparked his passion.
I did all the shows at Framingham, and I did this show called F Cubed, which was it was a little bit different. It was like a student-run concert.
This concert showed Matt a different side to music. He quickly took a liking to the way he could express himself.
I had a Mac. I made a beat on it in GarageBand, and then I recorded myself with like a iPhone mic. I posted it on Facebook. I was so proud of myself. It was really bad, and like I don't know, I just fell in love with it, and I didn't want to do anything else. Yeah. So I really haven't done anything else.
Since then, his following has been growing.
I've been getting a little bit of traction on the sites where I post my music, mainly SoundCloud. My last 2 songs, one of them that I posted 3 weeks ago, just got up to 10,000 plays. And one that I posted like 15 days ago is now at 4,000.
His love for music may be new, but he's now devoting his life to it.
And it completely like enveloped my life. I feel like I have like a tunnel vision where like all I see is like music. I don't really have a plan B, so I just see myself going as far as I can in this lane, and like all I want to do is music, and so like it's really just become my life.
For Mustang Magazine, I'm Sadie Kroll.
Thanks, guys. That was a great story. We'll be sure to look out for Matt Owens-Costa in the future. Well, that's all we have for this episode. Thanks for tuning in.
And don't forget, you can always find us online at mustang.media or hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.